Hello students. Today I am going to tell you about the different parts of flower, that is general description of floral parts. And these parts actually in my previous video you can see there I have given you one explanation of dissection of flower. Then China rose I have dissected there and all the floral parts shown there. But now I am going to tell you some more description, more detail of the different whorls of flower. You know that there are four whorls: calyx, corolla, and there is a androecium and gynoecium. So we are going to discuss in detail about some details of the gynoecium, androecium, corolla and calyx. So that I want to tell you, that's why we are here. So let's start with that topic. Now first of all I want to tell you about the calyx. You know that calyx is a greenish in color, and that you know that greenish in color, and it's helping in photosynthesis. But students, I'm going to explain you that how calyx is divided into two parts. So look at this calyx, and this calyx is divided into polysepalous and gamosepalous. So the polysepalous are those where free sepals are there. Free sepals. And gamosepalous, fused sepals. Fused sepals. So students, these are the structures, and you have to learn about their definition. Gamosepalous and polysepalous. The polysepalous, mostly in my previous video you can see there that whatever flowers I have dissected, they have a fused sepals. So I'm going to draw that fused sepals. Whenever fused sepals are there, those fused sepals will be fused in the whole body, but their upper part have some diversion and some different, you can say that the separate sepals are there, but and flower is attached with them. And students, but wherever free sepals are there, you have seen that in free sepals the sepals are free in nature, they all are away from each other. These are called as free sepals, and the flower is over them only. So these are the free sepals, polysepalous and gamosepalous. So students, now next one is I want to tell you about the one more very special feature. For example, suppose this is sepal. I think in my video also you have seen that sepal is there, fused sepal is there, flower is lying here. Then some small leaf-like structures are also attached over here. These extra leaf-like structures are called as apicalyx. Some flowers are having apicalyx, some are not having. So this is called as apicalyx. And students, sometime these sepals are brightly colored. Brightly colored means means they are not behaving like a sepals, they are behaving like a petals, and that petals behaving calyx is called as petaloid. Students, I told you petaloids are there, and these petaloids are very bright in color, and they are overtaking the function of corolla. So look at this. A very good example is gulmohar. Gulmohar is an example which having a very red color, and its common name is its name is flame of flower, flame of the forest. Yes, flame of the forest. You can see these flowers very beautiful, but these all are actually whatever reddish part you are seeing them, that is not a corolla, that will be a that is basically sepals, or we call them as a petaloid. And next one is we are going to discuss about the as I told you, this function of calyx, protection at protect the flower at young stage, or helps in photosynthesis. Now next part is corolla. Corolla, students, As you have read about the corolla, they are also called petals, and now we are going to discuss about the petals in corollas in detail. Sometime you have seen that some flower are having one layer only corolla, one whorl is there, and sometimes there is a double whorl, sometimes there are so many whorls are there. In rose flower you have seen so many whorls, and in normal china rose you have seen only single whorl. So these differences are there, different whorls are there. But students, it is also divided into two categories: polypetalous, polypetalous, and next one is gamopetalous, gamopetalous, gamopetalous. Polypetalous means free petals. This one is fused petals. So students, you can see here in petunia, hibiscus, there are fused petals, but in other flowers, if you will see some simple flowers, then they are having a free petals. So you can see here free petals are like this, and fused petals are fused together, and they are called as gamopetalous. So students, now we are going to discuss about what are the functions of petals. You know very well, they attract insects for their pollination, and they also protect stamens and pistils in their inside them for their proper growth. So they always help androecium and gynoecium to develop and protect them. Now next one is our next topic is androecium. Andro first, okay, and then ecium. Androecium, you know that from lower classes you are learning them as a, it has a two parts, that is anther and filament. You can see here, suppose these are the anthers, then this one is filament. This is anther, this one is filament. So students, these anthers are actually very special. These anthers, if I will make a one diagram for you, these anthers, if we will cut the anther, this part we will cut, then you can see this part we will cut, then it will be looking this type, and then the two sacs are present inside, and these are called pollen sacs, and these pollen sacs will be filled with the pollen grains. So you can see here pollen sacs are there, pollen grains are there. These are called pollen sac, and inside there are pollens, okay, pollen grains, and this is anther. So students, these are the you can see here that this structure is called as androecium. The male reproductive unit, male gamete, is formed inside the pollen grain, so that's why it is called as male reproductive organ. So students, when anther will be ruptured, then all pollen grains will come out, and they will scattered here and there for the pollination, and then they settle on the stigma, and pollination done. Now next one is, I'm going to explain you about the different types of pollen, different types of androeciums. Students, in androeciums, the stamens are arranged in various manners. For their grouping. So they will form a group. Sometimes they are free, sometimes they form groups. So according to their arrangement, we are going to divide. We are going to give you types of androecium according to their grouping or groups. There are you can say that 4 types. Number 1 is, we are going to discuss this. Number 1 is called as polyandrous. Students, Students, polyandrous is mainly found in petunia. Petunia is a flower, and in this flower what happen, all the free stamens are there. Okay, anthers are free there, and they are totally away from each other, and this is a representation of polyandrous. It is called as polyandrous. Now second is called as monoadelphous. Monoadelphous. Phous, adelphous, monoadelphous. This type of, in this case, the stamens are united in one group only by their filaments, and only anthers are free. So look at this. China rose is very good example. You will learn its definition, example, and one definition and one example. So look at this. First of all, example I am giving you. Example is China rose. And students, this China rose is having one group. I'm going to make a one group. For example, in China rose, if you will see, just like this one group is there like this, and they are fused together, filaments are fused together, and at the end they are going to be separate. All anthers are separate at the end like this. So this is one group formation. All filaments are grouped into one. Okay, so the one group when form, one means mono, and group means adelphous. So this is going to form a monoadelphous. Now you can see here monoadelphous, China rose, that is forming a one group, group. And one more I want to make you, as in your book it is form. You can see here the China rose or any other plant, they are having all filaments are joined together, and all the anthers are free from top, but their all filaments are grouped into one group. So this is called as monoadelphous case. Okay, monoadelphous case. So now I think it is clear to you. Now next one is, the third point is your diadelphous. Students, diadelphous. Di means two, adelphous, di means two. So now when the filaments are grouped into two, example is pea plant. So students, you can see here in pea plant, the flower is having 10 stamens. Out of 10 stamens, the 9 will make a one group only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. 9 will make one group, and one filament will be separate. So you can see here they are forming two groups. 9 group into one and one is separate. So two groups are formed. That's why it is called as diadelphous. And next one is, we are going to discuss about the polyadelphous. Students, now number 4. Now number 4 is polyadelphous. Number 4 is polyadelphous. Adelphous. In this case, so many groups are formed. Suppose there are 50-60 filaments, and they are grouped together into different groups. And very good example is Bombyx. Students, this name you have to learn perfectly. Bombyx. And in this case, so many groups are formed. For example, this is one group, this is second group, this is third group. So many filaments are there, and they are grouped together, and then anthers are free at the top. So this is called as polyadelphous. Don't get confused about the polyandrous and polyadelphous. In polyadelphous, many groups are formed. In polyandrous, the first case, all anthers, all stamens are free, all filaments are free. So this is all about your androecium. Now come to the gynoecium. Students, you know about the gynoecium already very well. So let's start with the gynoecium. Gynoecium is a very important part of the flower, and this is also called carpels. carpels, and you know that its structures. Top there is a stigma, then style, and then swollen part is called as ovary, and inside ovules are present. You can see here stigma, style, and ovary and ovules. Okay, and most of the time pollen grains will come and settled over here, and they will help in fertilization. So this is the part of stigma, style, and ovary. And definitions, you have to learn about their definitions. And then students, I want to tell you one more thing. Whenever this ovule will be present into the ovary, this arrangement is called as placenta. So students, you can see here I am going to draw one placenta word is there, placenta. What is placenta? Actually students, placenta is a place. For example, suppose this is I am going to make a one pod, that is your pea pod is there, and inside lots of peas are attached there. So peas are ovules, and attachment inside this. So this part is known as placenta, where the ovules are attached. So the definition is the cushion and swollen region in the ovary attaching the ovules to the wall of the ovary is called placenta. So students, you can see in other fruits also. For example, in tomato, if you will see that lots of seeds are embedded in different partitions. You can see different partitions are there, and lots of seeds are embedded. So the partitions which are there present, and pulpy substance is present, that is called placenta, where ovules are living. That place is called as placenta. In this pea plant, in this pea, you can see that placenta is totally empty, only ovules are there. But in tomato, you can see lots of pulpy substance is there. So this place is called as placenta. Now students, next one I want to tell you about the one more definition, that is called inflorescence. Inflorescence. Wait students. Inflorescence. Inflore and then essence. Students, this inflorescence is arrangement of flower on the plant axis. Look at this. Suppose this is a plant axis, then arrangement of flower. Sometime like this, alternate position. Sometime alternate position. Sometime in a opposite position. So arrangement of flower is this. Sometimes the flowers are arranged at a tip only. So different types of arrangement of flowers are there. This is called as inflorescence. So please learn it. Now the last topic is placentation. Students, definition is given: placenta and placentation. Placentation. First of all, I want to tell you placentation. So students, this placentation is arrangement of the manner in which ovule are arranged and attached to the ovary of fruit. So you can see one arrangement I have shown you like this. This is marginal arrangement. The ovules are arranged at one side and all this is free. One arrangement is central type. You can see like this. The ovules are arranged at the center. Seeds are arranged at the center. One is like this, means you can see here one ovule only attached there. Sometimes there is arrangement of, as you have seen, some lemon and cucumber. The ovules are arranged like this. In pomegranate, if you will see, lots of arrangement. So different types of arrangement of ovules in different fruits to the wall of ovary is called as placentation. And students, placenta, you know that this cushion like structure in which ovule is attached to the wall of ovary is called as placenta. So this is your topic. And one more topic is left over here, that is unisexuality. There are two types of plants. Number one is monoecious plant. Monoecious plants, students, I am telling you plants. So monoecious plants are those plants, means you can say that male and female flowers are growing on same plant. Same plant. That is called as monoecious plant. Very good example is maize. More examples are given, that is cucumber, pumpkin. These all are the monoecious plant. You can see I am going to draw maize plant. You can see here in maize plant, if you will see, the top is having the male part and these are the leaves, and here we will having a female portion. So this is a female flower, these are the male flower. So students, you can see the one plant only, same plant is having two flowers, male and female flower. So this is called as monoecious plant. Monoecious plant. So maize is good example as I have shown you here. And then next one is your dioecious plant. Dioecious plants means male plant on which male flower, female plant on which female flower. This type of flowers growing there. So different plants are there, and those two plants are there for female and male. So that's why it is called as dioecious plant. Very good example is papaya. Papaya, students, you have seen that papaya plants are mostly having different types of flowers on different plants. So that's why sometimes some papaya plants are not having any fruit. So this is your dioecious and monoecious plants, or because of their male and female parts, male and female flowers are found there. So that's why this structure and this type of dioecious plants are present in our plant world. So friends, this is all about this topic. So next time I will come with another video. So please you go through with this topic, and just after that you read your chapter, you can be able to understand your chapter much better way. Thanks, and next time again I will see you there.